Many veterans lose their VA claim and they have no idea what went wrong. But one World War II veteran's denial changed everything and created a formula that has now helped tens of thousands of veterans win their claim and get the benefits they've earned and deserve. If you're filing a VA claim, this video could save your benefits, your peace of mind, and protect your family's future. It's called the Kuza Triangle, and it's named for Mario Caluza, a World War II veteran, and VA raters use this to decide every direct service connection claim today. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how this one veteran's claim opened up this help, the VA's three-part test for direct service connection, common pitfalls at each step, and exactly what you need to do to win your claim and get the benefits you've earned and that you deserve. Would you please consider subscribing to my channel and help me reach as many veterans as possible? Also, would you consider liking this video, sharing it with anyone you think it could benefit, and please drop me a comment, let me know what you think, and let me know where you're watching from. I try to respond to all comments. Before we get started, I want to give a special shout out to our veteran community who are watching these videos from all across the United States and all around the world. It's an absolute honor to have you on this channel. Thank you so much. So what is the Kuza Triangle? Well, Mario Caluza was a World War II veteran who served in the Philippine Army that was under U.S. command. He served from November 44 to November 45. Years later, in 1970, he filed a VA disability claim. He claimed a shrapnel wound to his right foot. In the end, the claim was denied. The VA said he did not have in-service documentation. We've all kind of heard that. And also that his buddy statements did not line up and some of the paperwork contradicted itself. So he was denied his original claim. He kept appealing, and in 1995, we had the landmark case, which was Caluza v. Brown. Brown was the secretary of the VA at that time. He was denied. It was officially denied. But they came up with the standard for direct service connection, which is three parts. It's kind of informally known as the Kuza Triangle. Well, let's get started with leg one, the in-service event. This is the leg that most veterans lose on, not because they're lying, not because they're making it up, but because the paper trail is broken. They're missing the in-service documentation. The VA needs proof that something happened during your military service. And this is where Mario Caluza lost his case. He claimed a shrapnel wound, but he couldn't prove with credible evidence that the injury occurred in service. His buddy statement wasn't enough, and the court ruled that without documentation or corroboration, his claim could not be granted. That's why this leg is really important and why I've covered it as number one. Some common pitfalls that veterans make is not having the in-service documentation. It was considered weakness for us to go to sick call or to sick bay. And so we didn't self-report. We didn't go to sick call. We sucked it up and we toughed it out. So as a result, there's no documentation in our service treatment records. And when we make a claim today, much like Mario, we don't have the in-service documentation. Also, another common pitfall is you rely on your own statement, one personal statement, without corroboration, without lay witness statements from your family members, buddy statements, and that they all line up. Also, the buddy statements lack detail or doesn't match your timeline, and your personal statements contradict your records or they're too vague. What exactly can you do to make sure that you hit it out the park on the in-service event leg? I would encourage you to request your service records through a FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, to get your hands on anything you may not remember. For a lot of us, it's been a long time. I think for me, it's now 35 years. Also, it can help you remember dates, times, places, units that you served in. Doctor's appointments may even be in your service treatment records that you don't remember that you did go to. Also, be sure to submit a personal statement in support of a claim, a VA Form 21-4138, to help explain these missing records. Now, I think you should submit that even if you have the in-service documentation, but for sure if you don't, make sure that you submit a detailed personal statement in support of a claim. And what you want to do is reference your units, your duty logs, your deployment orders, include dates, locations, context. VA raters are trained to spot inconsistencies, so make sure your timeline is thought out and it adds up and it's exactly what happened. In some cases, you may have to put, to the best of my recollection, this is what happened. And make sure that you align your personal statements with your supporting evidence. Mario Caluza lost his case here at this leg, the in-service event, not because he didn't serve, maybe not because he wasn't injured, but because the VA couldn't see it on paper. And that's the reality for thousands of us. And if we don't have that documentation, we've got to submit as much corroborating evidence that is aligned as possible. Leg number 2, current diagnosis. For current diagnosis, the VA doesn't rate symptoms, they rate diagnosed conditions. So you need a formal diagnosis from a licensed provider, VA or private. This leg is often overlooked by veterans who assume their symptoms speak for themselves. But without a diagnosis, the VA actually has nothing to rate. A quick note is some veterans do get their initial diagnosis during a C&P exam. It actually happened to me a couple of times, and that is valid. But it's not guaranteed. If you can get it documented earlier through VA or private care, don't leave it to chance. For example, go to your podiatrist and get diagnosed with plantar fasciitis. That's your second leg, the current diagnosis. Some common pitfalls in this leg are only describing symptoms without a diagnosis and thinking that's going to fly. Assuming a past diagnosis still counts. One of the things about current diagnosis is it needs to be current, meaning in the last 6 to 12 months. So as you submit that claim, you want to make sure that you get to the doctor and get updated current medical records. Also, a pitfall is relying on a C&P exam to hopefully find the issue and submitting a DBQ without a clear diagnostic label. Here's exactly what you can do to really make this leg of the triangle, the current diagnosis, airtight. You can get a current diagnosis from a licensed medical provider. Use VA, private, or telehealth. Just get it documented. Ensure it's in your VA records or submit it with your claim. You can also, as mentioned before, request your claims file and confirm what's already documented. Be sure to be specific with your medical providers to help them diagnose exactly what's wrong with you, the symptoms, the frequencies, the impacts to you, so that gets documented in your medical records. So the VA doesn't rate symptoms, they rate diagnosed conditions. You could be in pain every day, but if it's not diagnosed, it's invisible to the system and you'll fail on leg 2. And that brings us to leg 3. To finish out that, what you need is a bridge, a nexus, which is a medical link. This is the bridge between your current condition and your in-service event. You need a medical opinion that says it is at least as likely as not that your current condition was caused because of your military service. Without this link, your claim will almost absolutely be denied, even if the other 2 legs are solid. The nexus is what connects your story, your experience of what happened in service to your current condition, and it's the leg that turns the facts into VA benefits. For example, your podiatrist could not only diagnose you with plantar fasciitis, but also write, it is at least as likely as not that the veteran's plantar fasciitis was caused by prolonged marching and improper footwear during military service. That's a really solid third leg. I know in my case, I went to my private physician before I submitted my claim, and I shared with her some of the conditions I was having, and I asked her, do you think this could have happened in service for me? And she was able to document a couple of conditions where she felt like, hey, he has these current conditions, and in my opinion, I believe it happened because of his military service. So it is possible. In some cases where it's a little more difficult, you may want to reach out to a consultant and can help you with what's called a nexus letter. Some common pitfalls at leg 3 is assuming the VA will connect the dots without a medical opinion. Can they? Yes, but to assume that is a pitfall. Also, submitting a vague or unsupported nexus letter. Using a DBQ without a clear nexus statement. If at all possible, if you can either give a personal statement to your provider, or if you can provide your medical service treatment records to your private provider, that may help them write that is at least as likely as not due to your military service. Every denied claim I've seen failed one of these three legs, but every approved claim nailed all three. That's the triangle. That's the formula, and now you've got it. Mario Caluza lost his claim, but he gave us the Caluza Triangle. Now you know it, use it, build your claim like a pro. Please consider subscribing to my channel. Help me reach other veterans. Would you like this video? Share it, drop me a comment, and I'll see you on the next video.